Hello, today I am talking about OBEs, that is out of body experiences, or some people call it astral travel or astral projection, and I love this sort of stuff. When I was little I could do that, and not many people know this. In fact, I don't know if anyone knows this, because the family that I came from wasn't quite like me in certain ways, and so a lot of things that I thought or went through, even as a child, I never really spoke about because I didn't see the point, because I knew that people wouldn't understand, and so I just put it down to, this is something that you just keep to yourself. But I used to do this all the time when I was little, and I didn't even know I was doing it. I didn't know what it meant. And I've also had it happen about 3 times as an adult, but it's nowhere near what it was when I was little. But I remember one incident where literally my dad had gone out on his motorbike and he'd gone drinking, and I'd gone to bed, and I don't know how old I was about 10, maybe 9, 10 year old, and he'd gone out on his motorbike and I'd gone to bed and I was asleep, and suddenly I was having this lucid dream, and it was so real, and I dreamt I was sitting in the living room watching the TV, and this news flash came on, and it was calendar news, and it said there's an event that's about to take place and we're live here at this scene. And suddenly it's like I've gone into the TV where they're filming it, and I am the film, and I'm hovering above this scene, and I can tell you the name of the street. It was off Cousin Lane in Halifax, and I could see, I think it was Furnace Drive. I could see a car coming down towards the junction at the main road, and then I saw this guy on a moped coming along the main road, and this car stopped at the junction, and I was watching it as like a bird's eye view, and I saw the guy on the motorbike swerving like that, so he was obviously had no control of the bike, and what he did is he smacked straight into the side of this car, and the bike went up in the air and the man went up in the air, like, and he was like a rag doll, and he did all these somersaults and then landed on the floor, and I could see his leg had gone up his back and it was shattered, and he was like a rag doll just laid there, and his bike went further down the road, and I knew it was my dad. Anyway, I woke up straight away and I ran downstairs, and my mum was in the living room, and she was pacing the floor, and I went, Mum, Dad's had an accident. And she said, I can feel something's happened, I don't know what it is, but I've got an awful feeling. And I said, he's had an accident on his bike and he's hit a car. And she was so stressed, she wasn't listening to me. And then there's a knock at the door, and we opened the door, and there's a policeman, and the policeman stood there, and he said, I'm very sorry. And I went, my dad's had an accident on his bike, and what he was doing is he went on Cousin Lane and he saw that car, and he was drunk, and what he did is he hit it like that, and it flew his bike up in the air and him, and then he landed on the floor. And the policeman just looked at me and he went, what? And I said, I've seen it. And he looked at me and he went, it happened about 10 minutes ago. And I went, I seen it. And he couldn't believe it. And then he sort of pulled himself together, and then he told my mum in front of me that my dad had just had an accident on his bike and he'd hit a car, and he was in hospital. I just told my mum, and I just told this guy what had happened, but they didn't kind of believe me. So I just sighed inside, and I thought, yeah, I saw it. So that was one incident. And then when I was an adult, my daughter got pregnant with my grandson, and I again, very lucid dream that there was walking up from the hospital with this baby in a blanket. And again, bird's eye view, it's like I'm hovering above the scene, but I can zoom in, so it's like you're up there, it's like a drone. So you're up there, but you can zoom in and look. And I zoomed right in onto his little face, and I could see his little face, and I went, oh, he's got beautiful long lashes and beautiful blue eyes and blonde hair, and he's a little dolly. He's beautiful. And I told my daughter about it. I said, I've went out of my body again and I saw this. And she went, And I went, no, I did. I seen him. He's got blonde hair. And she went, nah, I think he's going to be like his dad. So he's going to be a big baby and he's going to have dark hair and dark features. I said, no, he's a dolly and he's got beautiful little like Cupid lips. And he looks like an angel. He's an earth angel. Anyway, he were born. And I went to visit him in hospital and I looked and I went, oh my gosh. And I says to her, look. And she went, what? And I said, do you remember when I said I seen him? And she went, oh yeah. And I said, do you remember me telling you he's just a little dolly when he's got like these beautiful long lashes and he's got a beautiful like a little glow about like peachy glow and his blonde hair? And she went, I do remember. I said, I seen him. I saw my grandson before he was born. And then not long after that, my sister, she was having a baby as well. And the same thing. And this time, he was in a hospital crib. And again, I was above the scene looking down on him. And I could zoom in. And it made me laugh because I says to my sister, he looks like a little old man. And this is really interesting because when he was a little boy and he started talking, he used to say stuff like, when I was a little old man, in my, in past life or whatever, when I was an old man. I saw it, so he was born like an old soul, that's what I call him. So in our family we've got people who say they were born 30, and I was one of them, and my niece and my daughter, we were all born 30, so we were never really children, if that makes sense. We were born with something different about us, like, and then because you get like the new souls, like I believe my grandson has never really been here before, or if he has, it's not much, because he came to me like I saw him as an earth angel, like I've come here for a purpose and I'm going to do this thing while I'm here. But the old souls look old when they're born. They look like little old men and women, and it's really sweet. And then obviously they come back in, the creases all come out, and then they go back to looking like what you'd call a baby or whatever. But when I see newborns, I can look at them and go, that's an old soul, that one. That they've been here before. They've got that look in their eye. It's like a wisdom, like a deep wisdom, like they've come back as an adult in a child's body. It's really funny. But this concept of, it's like dreams, isn't it? Like the dream state. Where do you go when you're dreaming? Is it into a parallel universe? Are you actually doing what I've just explained I did, where you're actually leaving your body, your spirit's leaving your body and going around? So does that mean we're like the ghosts? If you've ever experienced a ghost, is it actually a person who's here, who's leaving the body and just having a wander around in the sleep, or doing lucid dreaming or OBEs? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, because I bet I can guarantee that somebody watching this now will go, I can do that, or I used to do it, or I know someone who does it. My uncle died a few years back and I never got to know him properly because we didn't see each other very much, and when I was young he wasn't into children, he never wanted children, so I didn't have much of a relationship with him until I was older. But apparently before he died, he said that he's done it all his life. He used to do that all the time, and he never went abroad because he never had to, because he could just imagine the place and just go there in his head, and he was there for real, and it was like a real, I actually do leave and go there. And it's something only a few people can do now, but I believe we could all do it at some point. And I think we've all been numbed down so much, and our pineal glands have been calcified, that we can't do what we're supposed to do. And if you think that our brains are like the size of the brain, and yet how little we use of them, even really intelligent people don't use that whole brain. So what is the rest of it for? What is it doing? Has it been shut down generation down? Each reset, has it just been shut down, and to shrink us down into something else that we see now? But are we supposed to be much more powerful then we are, and I do believe we are. I think we can all be to a point where if we all got the proper guidance and shown how to do it, and we put the time into it, I believe that if you get somebody young enough, by the time they're older, they could be amazingly psychic and able to communicate telepathically and things like that without even having to use the mouth. I think we have got that in us to do, but we've just been shut down. Now the CIA, it's funny because people respect, if you say I work for the CIA, people would respect that, or you say I work for Scotland Yard, they'd respect it because it's like, that's a big job, that's, you know, that's quite an achievement to do that, isn't it? But the CIA have spies who are psychic spies, and they use people who can do astral projection, and they use them as the spies to do it in the ether, in the other. So they don't have to physically go to a place in their body, but they can go... I don't know how much time I've got left here. I'll try that one. So they can go to a coordinate, so that what they'll do is they'll give them a coordinate and say, you go to that place, and they can do it. They can actually do it. And one of the things that I read was really interesting, and this was to do with the Vatican. And in the Vatican they've got the vaults, and down there are all the hidden secrets, and there's so many miles of it under there that people don't know about. And the secrets down there are the answers to all the questions we have, but they're hidden from us because we don't have privy to them, because if we did, we'd find out who we really was and what we really was and how powerful we was, and then all the powers that be would be disintegrated because we'd dismantle them instantly, because we'd be back into who we really are. So they are heavily guarded. And what is interesting is they're not just guarded by physical men, but they are also guarded by physical men who are also psychic. And this story is hilarious. So the CIA sent some of their men down there to go into the vaults as ghosts, right, as the spirit, to go and find out the secrets, right? And when they got there, the guards saw them because they were also psychic. So they saw each other's spirits, if you like it, and it was really funny, so they couldn't get past them. So there you go. So, and they do use psychics in Scotland Yard as well to do like unresolved mysteries like missing peoples and stuff. And some people will go there and they work for the Scotland Yard, and they'll do stuff like, they say, if you give us a piece of jewellery that belonged to the missing person or something that belonged to them, and they can just touch it and tap into their spirit, if you like, their essence, their imprint, and they can read it and they can tell them where the body is, or that person's still alive or whatever. So I just find that really interesting. So have you ever had an out-of-body experience? And I know a lot of people have this when they nearly die, and then you get brought back again. But have you ever had one, and can you do it at random, at will? And if so, how do you do it? Or because do you know what, I'd love to do it again, but you've got to not be scared. You've got to not be scared to do it. You've just got to just relax and allow yourself to go and then come back. But it's it's actually really good, because when I did it, it was like a bird's eye view, like I was a bird hovering in the sky or something, and they can zoom in, see things really clear, and go into conversations and watch people. And it's like you can just go into somebody's house and just watch them, and it is, if you can do it, you've got to have ethics because you can literally spy. And because most people are shut down now, they're not psychic, so they're not psychic enough to know that you're there. But the amount of times I've been sitting somewhere doing something in my life, and I've just felt someone come to me, and I don't know who it is or why. It could be an ancestor or whatever, but I can sense somebody there, and then they'll just go. So other people doing it and spying on me, I love that. I find it really interesting. So yeah, out of body experiences and astral projection and stuff. And I know there are other cultures that can do it, because they teach them from young ages how to do it. And I just find it really fascinating, and it's one of those subjects that we don't really think about or talk about very much, because we accept that this is it. We're just a flesh suit, but we're actually spirits in one. And when we go into the dream state, we actually astral project into that parallel universe or whatever. But do we? Everyone's got their own opinion about it, but I'd love to hear if you've got any stories about leaving your bodies and where you've gone or what you've seen, because it's so rare that people can do it now, especially in our culture, that it's actually quite exciting when you hear that someone can do it. So, yep, I'm going to go for now. I'll see you later. Bye.